wonder.
Hello, my name is Katarina Jordan, and I will be giving a speech today about Elizabeth Cady Stanton, a pivotal person in many social issues in her lifetime and after. She led the way for women in this country to stand up for themselves and demand their own rights, to be elevated in society and equal to men. Born to an affluent family, November 12, 1815, to Margaret Livingston and Daniel Cady in Johnston, New York. Her father was a slave owner, a prominent attorney, congressman, and judge. She grew up watching her father work alongside other prominent men. Seeing this with no other women involved lit a fire in her at a very young age to change this. At the age of 16, she graduated from Johnstown Academy. After, she wanted to go on to college, but unfortunately at the time, it was still not allowed. So instead, she went to Emma Willard's Troy Female Seminary in New York, where she was exposed to preaching of hellfire and damnation. This caused her to have a breakdown and gave her a very negative view of organized religion for the rest of her long life. In 1839, she went to New York to stay with her cousin, Garrett Smith. While there, she met her future husband, Henry Stanton. They were married the next year. In their vows, she had them take out the line saying that she would obey her husband. Henry was very big in the abolition era and gave many lectures on the subject. For their honeymoon, they traveled to London, England to attend the World's Anti-Slavery Convention. While there, she met the woman that would play a very big part in bringing a women's convention to the United States. This woman's name was Lucretia Mott, who was also very angered by the exclusion of women in important matters. 8 years later, their hard work paid off when they held the very first women's convention in Seneca Falls, New York in 1848. While there, she authored the Declaration of Sentiments, which was written just the same as the Declaration of Independence, only changed to include women and women's rights. She also gave many lectures during the 2 days of the convention, including a list of 18 grievances. Some of those grievances included women's not having the right to vote, not having rights to their own wages, or property rights in cases of divorce. At the end of the convention, 100 out of 300 attendees signed the document, mostly women. Within the next few years, she traveled around lecturing and petitioning. Women's suffrage became her top priority around the same time she met Susan B. Anthony in 1851. They started collaborating on speeches, articles, and books. Unfortunately, by this time, she already had 7 children and could not travel anymore. She kept writing all of the speeches, though, and they were delivered by Anthony. There were disagreements about the 14th and 15th Amendments, which would allow black men to vote, but still not women. This caused the group to split for a few years before reuniting in 1890 as the National American Women's Suffrage Association. Later in life, she focused more on her writing 3 volumes of History of Women's Suffrage in 1881 to 1885 with Susan B. Anthony and Matilda Joslyn Gage. Building and sustaining the suffrage movement, she also published a women's Bible, urging women to recognize how religious orthodoxy obstructed their chances to achieve self-sovereignty. She died in October of 1802 in New York City, 18 years before women gained the right to vote. She may not have been alive when the law was passed, but it would probably have taken much longer without her. We were lucky to have such a passionate woman fighting for our female rights.